just want to get some people out of our house.
I understand. Well, look, in order to do that, I'm really going to have to get to know you guys. You know, we got to get closer. Move in with you for a while. Get to be real pals. You know what I'm saying? Save that guy for later. Huh?
My wife and I would like to ask you a couple of questions.
Sure. Go ahead, shoot.
Well, for instance, what are your qualifications?
Well, I attended Juilliard. I'm a graduate of the Harvard Business School. I travel quite extensively. I lived through the Black Plague, and I had a pretty good time during that. I've seen The Exorcist about 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it. Not to mention the fact that you're talking to a dead guy. Now, what do you think?
Hey guys, welcome to the Large Marge Sent Us podcast, your favorite podcast that covers everyone's favorite movies from the 80s and 90s. I'm Sweetie.
And I'm Sweetie.
And today we took a break from doing Christmas movies, even though we only did 2 of them.
Christmas sucks.
Yeah, we're just not having that great of a time with those. They're okay, but I guess we just don't really have that many. So we're buzzing through the available, or actually, no, this one is not available free, but we bought it. But Sweetie here was just like, yo, I really miss the movie Beetlejuice. Let's watch that and talk about it. So we did.
I didn't say I missed it. I was just like, I feel like watching Beetlejuice. That's what I felt like. So we watched it, and that is that. Always have loved this movie, even though it scared me. I still loved it a lot. Released in 1988. Tim Burton's second movie, I guess.
Is that what you determined?
No, but it's after Pee-wee's Big. It was like the next one, so... Yeah. I assume so.
Yeah, I mean, that
He
makes
maybe
sense because Pee-wee's was 86, right?
Yeah, or I guess, yeah. But it's typical Tim Burton flavor. Soup's creepy. Got the Danny Elfman music. The weird claymation sequences. Yeah, it's all kinds of fun. So, anything else?
Well. Starring Michael Keaton, who is just so awesome in this, actually only appears for like 16 minutes of the whole film, if you think about it, because it's just all these like little tiny scenes he has. Interesting fact. Also, sorry, I'm having weird heartburn right now. I'm like falling apart today. I had a headache, heartburn. What's up?
Go make some apple cider vinegar. I'll take care of it.
Anyway, Geena Davis also in this. Alec Baldwin, Catherine O'Hara. And my doppelganger, Winona Ryder.
Doppelganger. I don't see it.
When I was in middle school, this friend of mine, who I kind of didn't even really like, was like...
Sorry.
Was like, you look just like Winona Ryder. And like, I wanted to look like a pretty celebrity. And not that she's not pretty, but it was just kind of like... she was like a babe in the 80s and 90s. She did all those movies. But like, I don't know. I just never like saw it. But I guess I can sort of see it now.
Well, just kind of like a obvious, like you had dark hair and were kind of pale.
Kind of like big eyes too.
You had kind of big eyes too. I guess. Well,
maybe we'll do a side by side.
See what we think
on Facebook, and we'll let everybody vote.
That could be fun.
Yeah. Anyway, so kind of a kooky movie, and I just want to say shout out to an original fucking screenplay / plot. Didn't borrow this from nobody, yo.
Nice. Way to go,
yeah.
Tim.
Writers of this movie, who I forget.
Oh, not Tim.
It was like something McDowell, and I was like, Malcolm McDowell? That creepy blonde guy?
Andy McDowell? Star of
Michael? Paper McDowell?
That's the most random movie I picked. What? Michael, the one of the angel. John Travolta's the angel. We saw it in the movie theater.
That was horrible.
We were like, what is this?
That? Oh, that's called Michael.
Yeah.
I just had another McDowell, but I forgot it. Anyway, let's McDowell this plot away. It's time for that made no sense at all. Sweetie synopsis. Yeah, sweeties.
Barbara and Adam Matlin are in love, married, have a giant house in the sticks in Connecticut, rustic Connecticut, where there are lots of big spiders. Not sure why. They are on vacation and very excited. They need to run an errand to the hardware store that they own. On the way back, a wily dog gets in their way, and they run off the bridge. The dog steps off the piece of wood that was balancing them preventing them from plunging to their death into the water. The dog moves because he's an asshole. And they plunge into the river. She's going to sneeze, everybody. Look out. Look out. It's gone. It's gone.
Sometimes when you talk about it, doesn't happen.
Yeah. It's very... What is that noise?
Dogs.
Are they okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
When they go outside, that's what they do.
Sounds very violent. Okay. Is it Zoe or the ones upstairs?
I think it's the middle
Okay.
condo.
Never mind. Never mind. It's not Haley. It's not
Sorry.
Zoe. So, anyways, they get home soaking wet. Their fireplace is on. They have a new book added to their collection called Handbook of the Recently Deceased. Odd. They quickly realize that they did not survive that car crash, and they are now dead. Cut to people move in all of a sudden, I guess.
This is
Right?
It's getting crazy.
I'm just distracted by the dogs. Like, I really sounds like they're dying out there.
Let me do a whirl. Recently deceased. ... So they walk into their house. They realize they're deceased. They find this handbook that says recently deceased, but then they don't know how long it has been since they've died, and now they've like been woke, let's say. And these people move in to the apartment, and the people are not their kind of people. There's their family called the Dietzes. You have Charles Dietz, who is a entrepreneur, buys houses maybe and like flips them. I don't know. His wife, Delia, a struggling sculpturist, and his creepy daughter, Lydia, who wears black all the time and like weird hats with veils and is very macabre. So, what's their last name again? No. The dead people. The Maitlands, Barb and Adam Maitland, don't want these people in their house and like, what the fuck? So they do what any ghost would do, try to scare them out. And they make a very rookie mistake because why doesn't this work? Because the Dietzes can't see them because they're ghosts. So it's all for nothing. They find in the handbook, if there's an emergency, draw a door, knock 3 times. They go to the waiting room of the afterlife where they find out that they will have to be stuck in that house and ghosts for 125 years. And then they meet with their caseworker, Juno, who tells them that if they want the people out, they have to do better at haunting. Read the chapter on hauntings in the handbook. That's all. And sends them on their way. Meanwhile, they have been getting strange ads for a person named Beetlejuice. And she tells them, do not call him. He is bad. He's bad news. Just don't do it. And they're like, okay. Then they discover that Lydia, the odd one, can see them because she is strange and unusual. They soon make friends with her. She likes them. They like her. It's a match made in heaven, pretty much. What happens next? So they decide to use a different method to try to scare the Dietzes out. So the Dietzes are throwing a dinner party and with some guests from the city. And they do this thing where they use basically like, I guess, sort of a low-level possession. And they play this Harry Belafonte song. Is it called the Banana Song? I forgot. Daylight come and me won't go home. So then it's like they possess them and they all dance the, maybe it's Deo. They dance the calypso and they do all this like crazy stuff. Unfortunately, instead of scaring them to death, it makes them excited that there are these ghosts in this house and it's like an amusement park, and they have this idea to then basically like rent out the house to make it like a spooky world and like use their ghost talents, blah, blah, blah. Not what they wanted at all. So then they get desperate and they do end up calling Beetlejuice. Say it 3 times. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is not good though. He's kind of a mess and an angry little sucker.
He transforms into a snake and kind of scares the Dietzes.
Oh, wait. That's not yet, though. Remember, they meet him.
Well, they meet him before, but after the dinner party, Beetlejuice is still... They didn't say his name 3 more times after they met him. So, right. So they met him before the dinner party. We skipped that part. But they
only meet him after the dinner party.
No, it's after the dinner party. No, after the dinner party, and then he's like, "Oh, I'll show him what I'm like. I can really do." They're like, "Parlor tricks, dumb." He's like, "I'll show him." So he turns into the snake and then dangles him over. But yeah, so they meet Beetlejuice. They realize he's terrible, and so they get out of it. But they didn't seal him back in, so he's still able to cause havoc, basically. So he scares the Dietzes. They freak out. Lydia's upset. And then they get in trouble again by the caseworker because they let Beetlejuice out. They let Otho, weird, fat, interior decorator friend of Delia, take the handbook. And they're conversing with Lydia of the living, so they're in trubs. So they got to step it up. But then they decide they don't want to step it up. They like Lydia, and they say, we'll just make peace with them and let them live in our house, and all will be well. Unfortunately, Otho and the Dietzes get an idea that they will impress. Who is that guy? The Ghoulie.
I want to say it's like
Robert Ghoulie.
yeah, like Maxi Priest, but that's like a rapper or something. Who is that? Maxi something. He calls him like Maxi Pad. I don't know.
Great.
Yeah. So they get this other guy down. And they're going to try to impress this guy who sounds like he's like some bigwig in New York who like buys shit or investor or something like that. And Otho had stolen the recently deceased handbook or handbook of the recently deceased, if you will, and figures out a way to basically like because the ghosts weren't coming out. They were like, screw these people. We're not going to like haunt them and do these parlor tricks. So they get something of theirs. So they had left their wedding clothes in the house. And then they, for some reason, save them, put them on the table and like say this like creepy spells. And they appear in their wedding dresses and then start to die, even though they're dead. Creepiest fucking part ever. So they turn into basically like sacks of bones and like wrinkly skin. Lydia freaks out and is like, don't kill my friends. Beetlejuice, come help me. So she goes to Beetlejuice, and Beetlejuice is like, I will help you if you say my name 3 times, but also agree to marry me, because that'll be the only way that'll break my spell of like being stuck in this, I don't know, wherever he's stuck, right? So she's like, fine, let's do it whatever you want, just save them. And so he comes back to life in a big way and starts to terrorize the whole family again and has to marry Lydia. Spooky.
But then Barbara and Adam kind of take matters into their own hands, and Barbara somehow manages to get a sandworm to let her ride him, and she crashes into the house and swallows Beetlejuice whole. And then a couple months later, all is well. Barbara and Adam are living peacefully with the Dietzes, and Lydia is getting A's on her math test. And if she gets A's, she gets to do the ghost possession thing to another Harry Belafonte song. This time, Jump in the Line. So, great stuff. And that's the end. That's the end of the movie. That's it. All is well. All is well.
All is well. You can live with ghosts. Also, sweet aspect of the movie, it sounded like Barb and Adam couldn't have kids. And Lydia becomes their sort of like adopted daughter, which I think is real sweet. So even though they died, they got to live like the life they wanted to live because they get to stay in that house, which they really loved. Adam got to keep doing his models. Barb got to keep wearing those really unfortunate dresses. And Lydia got parents that she really liked. So everybody wins. And the Dietzes get to stay in the house. So then you see like the Delia and Charles still being able to like get along and coexist. And I hope really that's how ghosts are. That's my dream. That's my wish. I have a dream.
Okay. So obviously this movie is quite spooky.
Spooky spookers?
Spooky spookersons. I wrote down so many spooky, scary scenes, which I will now just call SSS or Triple S. Triple S? SSS. Triple S. That sounds better, I think.
Sounds like some superhero.
What's that? Sweetie Secret. Sweetie.
How about S cube?
No, I think Trip S. Trip S? No, Triple S. Triple S. So Sweetie scary scenes. There's so many to write down. I was running out of room. Yeah. So, all right. So number 1, the sandworms are very scary because it is a worm inside of a worm. Like there's 2 worms, and the claymation is scary. The claymation teeth in general in this movie I find to be very unsettling. Number 2, when they're trying to scare the Dietzes for the first time, and Barbara pulls off her face. That was scary.
Yeah.
you pay attention to me? I don't like this texting.
I'm listening.
And when they go to the afterlife in the waiting room, and they go to see their caseworker, and you get like a glimpse of the inside office of the afterlife, and there's that guy hanging there, and he's like passing out papers. That always took such a dark turn for me when I was little watching this. It was just it's comedic up to that point, but then like that point, like the music changes, and it just seems a little scarier.
Here's an observation. So Otho, is that what is the guy's name is? Says one time at the dinner, like joking, like, I heard if you commit suicide, you go into civil service. So there's the woman who slit her wrists, who's like the receptionist, right? And then Juno, though, slit her arm, weird. But then you have the guy who's hanging, who works there. But then the guy who's run over, like, did he commit suicide?
Maybe he jumped off a building
I don't
and
know.
got run over.
So I wish they had kept that a little bit more consistent, but I don't know. Maybe they just like random ideas.
I was mad because I was like, I watched this sort of recently, and I tweeted like, how does one get to be an employee in the afterlife? Like, do you study? Do you go to school in the afterlife to become a secretary? Like, what's the situation? Like, I'm so funny. And then this guy was like, tweeting me back. He was like, if you kill yourself, you become a civil servant in the afterlife. And I was like, what? I was like, shut up. I was like, how did Juno kill herself? So I'm not sure. Maybe caseworkers don't fit into that.
But it's just a joke, meaning like civil service is so like
it makes
you're
sense.
getting punished.
Yeah, but and then like all those skeletons typing away. What was their deal? I'm not sure.
Right.
My main question was, how do you get to be a blue dead person as opposed to like a green one or
Miss
regular?
Argentina, green.
Yeah.
Right. And then the woman who was like a magician's assistant who got cut in half is blue.
Oh, that's what that was.
And I thought they had to do with how they died. Like, oh, this is like me overthinking things. Oh, like carbon like dioxide poisoning or something like that, which like leaves you blue or something.
Monoxide?
Yeah, one of those. I don't know. What's dioxide?
Two. But who was blue? She got cut in half by the saw.
That's why it didn't make sense. But like, I think as a little kid, I'm sure I didn't know that much about stuff as a little kid, but I was really questioning why some people were like weird colors.
Yeah, I don't think it's
Okay.
there's rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a big question for me. Why is Miss Argentina green? But I like that.
And then last but not least, I mean, there are more scary moments, but this is when I stopped writing because I was tired of it. The shrimp hands, which I think we both had problems with.
Terrifying.
I love shrimp, and this upset me because the shrimp are giant. And before the Deo song starts, the shrimp look very gross, just very unappetizing. But then after Deo, they sit down, and then those hands just like come out, snatch their faces, and pull them out, and then you see like the giant shrimp arm, and they go back in the cup, and they make this gross squealing noise at the end.
Yeah. Or no, they're laughing.
Oh, they're like,
yeah, it's like weird demon laughs. Yeah, I'd love to know how they did that. Very, very creepy. And did you mention the part about when they age very rapidly? Okay. So when I loved this movie when I was a kid, but it scared me to death. But really the main part that did was that scene at the end. I could not watch it. I had to close my eyes. Terrified me because it's like Otho saying these like really creepy words, and then it's all lit up green and spooky, and then they pop into their wedding dress, and like she looks so nice, like Geena Davis, and then she instantly starts getting so old, and it's terrifying. And that's kind of funny because their like jaws fall off, and then they kind of like turn into like dust. But like part is so sweet because they clearly like very much love each other. That couple, they probably were like high school sweethearts or something. So she comes first and is like totally aged and like decrepit and nasty. He comes second and is like, oh, Barb, and like touches her face. And then they hold hands and her hand like breaks into a million pieces. But just like really sad, but sweet. True love. Yeah, but that scared the shit out of me.
That didn't scare me as much when I was little, but watching it this time, what really got me was the part where her like feet curl up. Yeah. Reminded me of the Wizard of Oz, that scene that I always hated when she takes the shoes off the dead witch and the feet curl up. I hate that like imagery, so it really upset me.
What were we talking about? Weird feet? Wasn't there like a pointy feet thing or something?
Hocus pocus.
Hocus pocus.
Pointy shoes, yuck.
Yeah. But yeah, so that part like really, really scared me. I mean, it's like a fun, creepy movie though. It's not like, I don't know, watching it now, I'm not like that scared of it. But I do like different stories about different concepts of what the afterlife is. So for them, it was they died and were going to be stuck in that house for 125 years before they moved on to wherever they were going to go, I guess, which is such an interesting concept. Like, if you do have to maintain some place on Earth, and like, why was it their house if they died, like fell into a river, like, right, like what determines like where you're going to haunt, I guess, or live. And like 125 years, so they're friends with that family now, and Lydia, but like she's going to like, is going to die eventually, and like where's she going to go?
And then who will be next? And then does it just have to be kind of like a passing off of the, like Harry Potter, like the next prime minister has to like find out that there's this thing, and then that'd be a cool sequel. I remember they briefly, I don't know if it's still happening. Oh, they are?
Yeah, it's in IMDb. It was slated for like last
but
years
with
ago.
Geena Davis and Alec Baldwin?
Yes. No. Only Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder have signed on. Yeah.
Interesting. Not sure what that will be like. But yeah, it kind of made me annoyed because I was like, you can't have a sequel, because originally I thought it said Geena Davis and Alec Baldwin were going to be in it, and that made me mad because it was like, they're very old now. Yeah. I mean, Geena Davis looks great, but Alec Baldwin is a lot fatter, and like not fat, but like he's aged, and I mean, he looks good. Yeah. But you can't do that when you're a ghost. Like, they would just stay the same age. Yeah. So I didn't get it. But we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah. I have a couple questions too. So, what is the weird sand snake world? He calls it Saturn, but like, why does that happen? Like, you step into like whatever place that you are like destined to be for a certain amount of time. So in the Matlin's case, it's their house, and then they pop into this like weird desert world where these like almost like, if you ever seen the movie Tremor, like those Tremor kind of like monsters, snaky, weird. They call them sand. What does he call them? Sandworms or something.
In this or in Tremor?
In this.
Yeah.
And they try to basically eat them, and it would kill them. But I guess it did kill Beetlejuice, because then he wound up back in the like. I don't understand who Beetlejuice is and what he does and what is this.
I think he's just a regular dead guy. He just got into a lot of trouble.
Why does he look?
He was
like
just
that?
banished because I don't know. He's like old and rotting. I don't know. You just banished.
And he worked for Juno as her assistant.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then he went on his own as a freelance bio-exorcist.
Right.
So you get in trouble, I guess.
So it's like a real problem. Obviously, a lot of dead people like want to get out of living like out of their shit, right? So it's obviously like a big business.
No, wait, living people?
Yeah.
A bio-exorcist. He kills the people that have taken over the ghost's like house or something.
Kills them.
Well, that's what is what I assume.
Oh. No, I mean, I thought it was just like aiding in them, like exercising from like the house. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, whatever. So that's like one of my questions. Another one of my questions is, why are there so much paperwork in the afterlife weird office place?
It's just one of those funny little touches. Like, oh, you still can't, even when you die, you still have to do paperwork, I guess, is what I got out of that.
Well, hopefully as the information or the internet age, etc., has come on, that place has modernized, because they could get rid of so much paper.
It's quite messy. They just,
I mean, I think that's the whole point.
Need some paper pushers.
It, like, so nasty and gross.
Sure. Yeah, but I mean, we don't need that much paper, guys.
Yeah.
Slow it. Save the earth. Save the earth.
Yeah. I think that's all I have for questions, but can I just jump into my observations real quick? So, for some reason, this movie that always really bothered me was Geena Davis's outfit. I hate that fucking dress more than anything. But mostly I hate that she wears these weird, like, white nylons and, like, nude shoes the whole time. And because she's so tall, I don't know, it makes her look like she's, like, just all legs, even though she is all legs anyway. I don't know. That outfit always really bothered me. You?
But nude shoes are in. I have...
No, but those are, like, gross nude shoes.
Gross nude shoes. Yeah. I'm not sure. Well, actually, I did write down that this viewing, for the first time, I said, I kind of love Delia's fashion sense.
Yeah. Awesome.
Do you think that's why they named that clothing magazine store Delia?
No, that's not
I'm
why
just
they
kidding.
named it that. But maybe. No, I really think her hat/hair accessories game is on point. Shout out to the gloves tied in like a weird bow headband kind of thing. The ringmaster like top hat with sort of a veil. and spit curls, but then she's wearing like this awesome hot pink lipstick. I truly do love her fashion sense. And you know what? Her sculptures weren't that bad. I think the tree one was kind of cool.
Is that what you call that?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what
It was like an artist reimagining of a spooky tree.
Yes, I suppose they were interesting in their own way.
Yeah, sure.
Any other observations? Sweetie observations.
Yeah. Like not really that good one.
Here's one I have.
Sneeze
Why?
again.
She's gonna sneeze again. Everybody, look out! Look out!
I think it's coming.
Oh.
He's like stuffed up.
Oh no.
Go.
Okay, random observation about Alec Baldwin's character that I noticed this time around, and I don't think I ever did before, is that I think he has a weird case of dyslexia or something. I say this because when he finds the handbook for the recently deceased, he's like, handbook for the recently diseased? And then Barbara's like, deceased. And then later when he finds the ad for Beetlejuice, he's like, Beetle guys. And
Couple things. I think you're mixing up dyslexia with not being able to read.
That's what essentially some forms of dyslexia are.
No. It's just your words get like reversed and stuff, right?
I think it's a little more complex than that.
Number two, I don't think that is the case because I think he was just misreading it in that particular instance because he didn't know he was dead. So he was like, oh, obviously it's not deceased, we're not dead. So he thought it was some other word. His mind was playing tricks on him. He plays tricks back.
It's a nice thought, but I think it's funny if he just was like, he just couldn't pronounce things or he couldn't like read correctly.
Well, and then the Beetlejuice thing is because I guess it's spelled like the constellation, which is like a weird Geuse. But you do pronounce that Beetlejuice after I did some research because for years I was saying you pronounce it Beetlejuice. That's wrong.
For years you've been saying that? I don't know.
But it did confuse me because I'm like, why are they saying it Beetlejuice? But for the movie, they changed the spelling because it like looked better and they didn't want people like me who are dumb to confuse it. So they spelled it like it was, they pronounced it like it was spelled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Second observation, or something that always bothered me, is at the end when they need to say Beetlejuice's name 3 times to send him back, they get it out so slowly. It's very upsetting. Don't you feel like if they had just said it 3 times so quickly, like Beetlejuice would not have realized what they were doing in time and wouldn't have been able to send them to Saturn or whatever. Like
you raced through that shit.
So like, let's pretend you're Beetlejuice and I'll be Barbara.
Okay,
so
ready?
now I've just become not an old dying skeleton.
Yep.
I'm off the table. You're getting married to Lydia Dietz. Here I come.
Getting married.
Beetlejuice.
And I'm dead. But they needed the dramatic effect for him to like throw all that shit on her. And I will say the part that didn't make sense for me was, why would you throw someone? So he closes her mouth like so he can stop her from saying Beetlejuice. So the first thing he does is he closes it with a zipper, with a thing that would unzip it. Why would you do that?
It's just the first thing that came to his head, I guess.
You stupid Beetlejuice.
That part always gets me. It's just like so slow, like Beetlejuice. And then they wait like 5 years.
Then who says the last one though? Nobody does, and he just crashes into the car,
kills him.
Oh, you're right. Well, because she goes outside and gets the sandworm,
and somehow is like, "Let me ride you,"
or he makes her disappear.
Is able to tame him. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Plot hole.
You
gotta suspend reality, obviously, for this one when you're talking about dead people.
Dead.
We're dead.
Do you want to talk about our favorite cartoon?
Do I? So, I don't know if anyone else remembers this, but they made a cartoon out of Beetlejuice in the 90s, I guess. And sort of different plot because Beetlejuice and Lydia are like buds and like do things together, right? So they have like all these adventures. So it was like this year or something, but this one particular episode like came back into my life. I don't know why. It just like, you know how like randomly things will just pop in your head for no reason at all? Mm-hmm. So there's this episode where there's like sort of like this boutique called the Spooky Boutique that was using mind control to make people shop in their stores. So whatever's that called, subliminal messaging, right? So they would play this
just straight up
hypnotizing, and they would play this song over the TV. So it was like an ad, and it goes, "Shop till you freak at the spooky boutique. And I like had that in my head for like an entire day. And then I like Googled it and I watched the YouTube video of it and I watched some of the episode. But like all day I was like, shop till you freak at the spooky boutique.
Yeah, it was a funny
But you
show.
really watched it.
Yeah,
You can tell more
I did
about it.
watch it. It was just like Lydia was at the school, that same school, Miss Shannon's, and then she was friends with Beetlejuice, but he was not like she didn't really like him as a friend. He would just like come and cause trouble.
Wait,
I
he
guess.
went to the school?
No, he was just she did, but then but then he caused mayhem. But my fondest / least fondest memory is that I was watching the cartoon one time and I was eating these ramen noodles with sesame oil and seeds, and something about the oil and the mixture of watching the Beetlejuice cartoon
Ew.
made me feel really sick. So now whenever I think of sesame oil, I'm always like, ugh, and I get sick and I think about this.
Bad.
You know.
Bad Beetlejuice.
But yeah, that's what I love about that.
Yeah. Cute cartoon.
Yeah. Anything else we missed?
No, I mean, I think this is just a super creative film. Cool story, cool Tim Burton-y effects, awesome soundtrack by the Danny Elfman.
Danny.
Yeah, just really, really takes me back. Used to be really
Classic.
scared of it, and now I can enjoy it because I'm not as scared because I'm old. Hooray.
I just really miss that classic Tim Burton So
Yeah,
even
Tim
though
Burton movies are shit.
right, even though claymation effects maybe don't look the greatest always, I kind of miss them because it really. I guess that's more just that I miss practical effects because I think Tim Burton really fell out of his wheelhouse once he was able to use CGI and do essentially whatever he wanted. Whereas if you're restricted to like only what you can create or what other people can create, I think you tend to get a little more creative and things are more realistic. I don't know. I'm sorry, Tim.
CGI is a crutch now.
I just think it's doing bad things for him. So I'm just
agreed.
sorry about it. But this is definitely, I think, the peak of his style. Like, if someone asked me, how do you describe Tim Burton as a director?
For
I would
some
probably
reason,
pick this.
I
movie.
forget that this is one of his. I don't know why. It doesn't like. It should stand out because it's classic. Yeah.
There's
but-
so many throwbacks to Pee-wee's Big Adventure. There's the hallway in the underworld that looks just like the creepy.
Did we
clown
determine
dream.
this was his second movie?
Yeah.
So like the one after Pee-wee. Yeah.
Yep.
Totes.
The janitor in the afterworld is the guy at the Large Marge diner.
Hey, Large Marge.
Who tells this story again. So yeah, really great. I love it. Yeah. Anything else you would like to talk about before we depart?
Dearly departed.
Do you have any like favorite parts that you loved the most? I will say I love those parts in the yes, I got Desmond a new toy and she's mouthing things at me. I don't want to stop it again because I don't want to mess it up. I got Desmond a new toy. It's very loud, but I don't think you'll be able to hear it on the microphone because that's what microphones are for.
Wow, technology. No, I just.
I love the parts in the waiting room where, especially the end sequence where Beetlejuice is like next to the shrunken head guy, and he's like, "Hey," I forget what he says to him, or just the people in there. The guy that like
says it to the whatever the not Aborigine. What's that? Like the jungle
Yeah.
guy. He's like,
The
"Did you do
voodoo
that?
doctor."
Nice work."
Yeah.
But he trades numbers. I always
And
love
his
that part.
number, he's like now serving 3, and then he looks at Beetlejuice
Just
looks
like
at his
5
number, and it's
million.
like 5,433,000.
Hey. Well, then he goes, "Hey, there goes Elvis."
And then he steals the
switches
head
the number.
shrinkers, and then the head shrinker shrinks his head. And then the guy that's like smoking. This is when they go earlier, but he's like, I guess he fell asleep with smoking and then burned himself alive. And he's like, "Hey, you want to smoke?" And
Trying to
she's like,
quit.
Yeah, I'm trying to come back myself. Just like classic, clever things like
real
that.
clever.
I just
Little
love
gems.
it. The surfer with the shark on his leg. The guy that swallowed the chicken bone, the fat guy. Which,
Yeah, I mean it's interesting how they did it. How like however you died is like you stay that way. So that's how you're like presented. So, but the Alec Baldwin and Geena Davis don't because they would have been wet because they drowned, right?
Yeah, Another plot hole. God.
Well, they didn't want to make them wet the whole movie, I read. So they're like, we'll just make that like not a thing for them.
Good.
But everybody else has to
That's
be
nice.
like exactly
It
how they are.
happens. Okay. I'll take it.
Yes. But yeah, so not a Christmas movie, but one we wanted to cover because we ran out of Christmas movies.
Yep.
So we got one more for you.
Oh, okay. Surprise.
Surprise!
But thank you for listening. If you have not, please do us a big favor and leave us a review on iTunes. We would love you forever. Also follow us at the Sweetie Club on Twitter and like us on Facebook. We'll talk to you next time, guys.
Thanks for listening. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Bye.